Two company executives are having a conversation one day, and the junior executive looked at his boss and he said, we've invested so much money in all of these people, their time and their training and their everything we poured into them. They know all of our secrets. They know all of our customers. What if we train them so well and then they decide to leave and compete with us? And the senior executive looked at him and said, what if we don't train them at all and they decide to stay? I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. It is pretty amazing when you look at the amount of money that goes into training, onboarding, HR development, human resources expenses such as your benefits, your deductibles, just the cost of setting up a new premium and a new policy and adding a new person to your network and the list just goes on and on and on. And that's just to get them in the door and into the seat, much less to train them on the way that the company operates, to train them on the way that they're supposed to lead within your organization, or who it is that they're responsible for, or how they interface with the customer, or how they interact with your data. It is really amazing all of the expense that a company of any size invests in bringing on a new employee. And I've heard it said that in this era, in the last probably 15, maybe 20 years, the idea of company loyalty it's gone. And when most people say that, what they mean is that companies no longer have that view of an employee that you're going to be here till you retire, and then there will be pension, and then there will be a 401k and blah, blah, blah. In fact, in about 60% of companies today, you're lucky if you get a 401k. Probably less than 20%. Less than 20% of major organizations still offer a long-term pension of retirement after you leave the organization. My mother's a retired teacher, and I understand that even teachers' associations are beginning to cut back on what they had promised to pay. So there are people looking at it going, I thought I was going to have X amount of money for life, and that number is dwindling. So company loyalty, organizational loyalty is a thing of the past. Unfortunately, what that breeds is a lack of loyalty on the part of the employee. Many people will take a job with an organization thinking, well, if I can just get the understanding, get the training, get the inside knowledge, I'll let someone else pay me to become an expert at, and then once I become an expert at, I'll go do it on my own, or I'll take that knowledge to another company, or I already have my own company, my own idea set up. I just need to learn some of the inside basics. I need to know some of the customers that are already spending money in that field. Well, obviously, that kind of disloyalty is a dangerous thing. So how in the world do you build loyalty when the company doesn't offer the long-term, long-range benefits of being an employee for 20, 30 years that it used to, and the employee doesn't see anything more than the short-sightedness of how many vacation days do I get, and how much is my paycheck going to be, and how long before I can get promoted to the next position, and how will I become the boss one day? That juxtaposition of leadership loyalty is a tough place to play. It's hard to be in that spot as a leader, both the employer and the employee. So how do you fix that? I love that old quote. I believe it was John Maxwell. It may not be a John Maxwell original, but nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Nobody wants to be an employee in your organization until they genuinely believe that part of what you're concerned with in the success of your organization is a place for them. I've been listening to some old interviews between the CEO of Goldman Sachs and Richard Branson. And they ask him, Richard, how is it that your companies have succeeded for so long? More than 400 companies, more than 50 years as an entrepreneur. He started at 15 years old. How do you do that? How many other people have started and failed and started and failed and started and failed and then gave up starting? So how do you successfully lead for that long? And his answer was, you treat your team like adults. You understand what motivates them. Is it being off on Monday and Friday and working really hard Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Is it working from home the whole time? He said, we treat people like adults. If they need to take a 2-month sabbatical, take a 2-month sabbatical. As long as the productivity that we expect of you in the course of the year is done, how you get it done is of less relevance. treating people like adults, caring about what they care about. Do you need a longer maternity leave because you have a child with special needs? Do you need more time off because you just lost a loved one and it was pretty tragic for you? Those are the kinds of questions that businesses generally don't ask, because businesses are more concerned with the grist mill, the grind, just get it done, show up, clock in, sit at your cubicle, keep your mouth shut, generate more money for me, and I'll pay you, and this will be our relationship. And in the end, there's no loyalty from either side. As leaders, I want to encourage you to understand what the people around you care about and invest not just in their training, not just in their being in the right cubicle, not just in their knowing the right customers and understanding your data and your processes, but invest in them being good human beings. Invest in belief in them. Invest in opportunity for them. And invest in relationships with them. When they understand why you do what you do is partly because of them, you'll have a lot more loyalty on both sides. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.